Hello, friends, and welcome. Since I came across so many haunted dolls, I decided to do a part 3. Not only are there thousands of haunted dolls, but a quick search will bring you to many allegedly haunted dolls for sale on eBay, if you're brave enough to have your own. Thank you again, Emily, for opening up this whole world to me with your suggestion, and links to part 1 and part 2 of my Haunted Dolls series is in the description below. I'll also publish a Haunted Dolls compilation so you can listen to all of these spooky stories yourself. This episode is not suitable for all viewers due to frightening and disturbing situations. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, let's get into the stories. In 1968, a strange doll was discovered in the attic of an old Victorian home in upstate New York. Found in the bottom of a tattered trunk full of newspaper, the only other item with it was a yellow piece of paper containing the Lord's Prayer. The old newspaper used to pack the trunk had dates on it going back to the early 1930s, but the actual age of the doll could not be determined. The doll was added to a collection of other unique dolls the family owned and given the name Charley. At first, the family paid little mind to Charley as it blended into their pre-existing doll collection quite nicely. It wasn't until Charley seemed to move from place to place on the bench full of dolls that anyone took notice. The parents were quick to blame their 5 mischievous daughters, but the children all maintained that they knew nothing about how the doll moved. Then the youngest daughter, who was 4 years old, made a startling statement. Charley had spoken to her when she got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. Naturally, the parents blamed the child's wild imagination. While the parents never witnessed Charley doing anything, the children soon became fixated on the doll and were terrified of him. All 5 daughters refused to get up during the night to use the bathroom and would not venture within 5 feet of the bench Charley resided on. The final straw was when the youngest daughter was covered with scratches and insisted they weren't from their cat, but from Charley. The truth was never fully discovered. The parents, eager to end the chaos, took Charley back to the attic and locked him back in the trunk. Things soon returned to normal and Charley was forgotten. Years later, once the children were grown, the house was sold and the trunk was removed from the attic to be sold at a garage sale. Charley remained one of the last things to go. A woman bought Charley to add to her antique doll collection, and the homeowner told her about their unsettling experiences. Since then, Charley had changed hands a few more times, and his story has followed it. He has been rumored to still move from time to time, but his ghostly powers seem to mainly be unlocked by children. The last known location of Charley was at a shop called Local Artesian in Beverly, Massachusetts. He sat among taxidermy animals, unusual art, and other oddities. However, there has not been any social media activity for Local Artesian since 2019, and the business is believed to be closed, making Charley's exact whereabouts unknown to this day. Claire is a porcelain doll that was found tied to a doll chair in a crawl space of a New Orleans home. The exact details of her original story is unknown, but many visitors share their disturbing experiences. She's now on display at the Museum of Shadows in Pensacola, Florida. It is believed Claire has a demon attached to her that likes to portray a little girl to make people feel sorry for her. Visitors have felt extreme sadness, chest pressure, developed scratches, witnessed her physically shaking, heard footsteps sliding on the concrete in front of them, a newborn crying, and disembodied voices saying, "Help me find my mommy," and "Can you let me out?" When Claire was in an open case, she drew visitors in to touch her and take pieces of her hair. Afterwards, visitors contacted the museum, stating she's appearing in their nightmares, in their homes, and is trying to lure them back to her. There's also been horrible luck attached to the visitor after having contact with Claire, like job loss and car accidents. After these encounters, the curators decided to place her in a full glass case with an alarm that will sound when she tries opening it. There is also a rule put in place that no one is allowed to touch any of the objects and to watch what is said around Claire since she releases negative energy. The Museum of Shadows has a sit challenge where, for an additional charge, visitors sit alone in a room with haunted objects like Claire in complete darkness for 10 minutes. Visitors are only given a flashlight if they need to quit, and live cameras are monitoring activity inside the room. Those who complete the sit challenge are said to experience a heaviness throughout their bodies, hearing whispering or loud noises, and orbs have been caught on camera around the person. Feel free to visit Claire or any of the thousands of haunted and cursed objects, if you dare. At the start of the 1900s, an uneasiness spread throughout Europe and a full-fledged war rippled through the rest of the world as well. Although World War I didn't quite reach Southeast Asia in full force as other places, the effects were still real for many of the European settlers in those colonies. Singapore, being a part of the British Crown, was not very German-friendly. During the 1910s, the island was home to two German families, the Brandts and the Mulligans, that ran coffee plantations according to the legend, although the proper sources for this are missing. In July 1914, the British started detaining Germans for security reasons as they were considered enemies to the Crown. A military force was sent to Pulau Ubin to detain the two German families residing there. According to the story, Germans were sent to a detention barracks on mainland Singapore, mainly in the Tungling barracks. But the detaining would not go well with a dramatic turn. A daughter around 18 years old of one of the families became frightened and fled from British forces into the wooded area and disappeared into the dark. Her body was covered with ants and discovered several days later by plantation workers. They concluded that she had died by falling down a cliff near one of the quarries that sustained the community on the island. The workers covered her body with sand and laid flowers on it. They said a prayer and lit incense for the girl when they visited. This was her resting place until her remains were moved, placed in an urn, and buried on a hill above the quarry. The family returned to look for her, but were unsuccessful and left the island. In 1974, one of the quarry companies built a permanent, small, yellow Chinese temple shrine. In 1985, a Malaysian newspaper published the first mention of the grave on Pulau Ubin that told the story of a princess that fled to the island and died there. She was said to haunt the hill, seducing the many quarry workers to meet a terrible fate. The article included a picture of the shrine, known as the German Girl Shrine. When the shrine was constructed over the grave, it became associated with good luck, especially for gambling, as rumors told about people winning the lottery after praying at the shrine. Gamblers from Singapore and Malaysia came to the shrine to make offerings in hope that the German girl would bless them with good luck. Other offerings are perhaps more of a young girl's taste, with nail polish, makeup, perfume, and the now famous haunted Barbie doll. The haunted Barbie doll was requested by the girl herself beyond the grave. In 2007, an unnamed local from Pulau Ubin who had moved to Australia kept having strange dreams. He dreamt of a European-looking girl for 3 nights in a row that led him to a specific store to buy a specific Barbie doll. She asked for it to be placed at her altar. When he found the same store and doll he had dreamt about, he bought the now famous haunted Barbie doll and brought it to the shrine. Over the years, visitors from around the world talked about their own experiences at the shrine and with the haunted Barbie doll. Emilia is over 100 years old and is believed to belong to the King of Italy, King Umberto, after one of his guards gave the doll to him. King Umberto was assassinated on July 29, 1900, becoming Italy's first assassinated king. Emilia was given to one of his most trusted friends and captain of the Royal Guard, Uvaldo Bellina. Captain Bellina was also assassinated, and Emilia was then given to his daughter Marie. Marie named the doll Emilia, had a great connection with her, and took Emilia everywhere. 2 wars broke out while Marie had Emilia. Marie and Emilia survived both wars, but Emilia lost both of her arms and scalp when there was a train bombing during the Second War. From that fateful day, she was haunted by the soul of a woman who tried to escape the train but unfortunately didn't make it. After that, Emilia is said to open and close her eyes. She had a voice box that no longer worked after the bombing, yet voices were still heard coming from it. At night, Marie would hear weeping, sobbing, and a voice crying for its mom coming from the doll. Sometimes Emilia would blink and her facial expressions would change. Emilia is often reported to be sad, and people say they can see the sorrow in her eyes. Marie played, hugged, and shared her secrets with Emilia during both wars and before the woman died, and Marie saw Emilia move both her arms and blink at her. During the war, Marie and Emilia would hide away in shelters. Marie felt safe around Emilia. One night, when Marie was hiding in a shelter, a man said he had seen Emilia smile at him while sitting on Marie's lap. Another time, Marie said she heard Emilia say a sentence after her voice box broke, saying, "It's not great." Marie was surprised and happy Emilia talked to her. Years after the war, Marie had a daughter and named her Emilia after her doll. Marie died of old age, and now her daughter takes care of Emilia. She hears noises coming from Emilia, believing that she is missing her owner, Marie. Amanda is a doll that is said to be a lonely spirit. Amanda's face was designed by Heinrich Handwerk in 1884. Ever since then, the toy company Simon & Halbig made many dolls with her face. Amanda was sold on eBay in August 2003. She was back on eBay the same year. The owner said that strange things happened and they didn't want Amanda anymore. This went on for a long time. Amanda had been up for auction more than 20 times. People always gave the same reason why they wanted to sell her. They would say strange things happened. They weren't specific until one day someone told their story. A woman said she could not get Amanda out of her mind, and when she tried to forget about her, she had horrible nightmares. She found herself always talking to Amanda. She would share her thoughts, secrets, everything. The woman said, "She knew who to listen to. She liked to listen to me, but she's not as gentle as you may think." She felt herself being dragged by Amanda into her dreams. One night she was startled awake with freezing cold feet. She climbed out of bed and turned on the light, and what she saw shocked her. Her feet were blue and had scratches all over them, so she decided to call an ambulance. She went to the phone and looked down at her feet. They were back to the original color. She was in shock and sat down thinking things through. Then she noticed Amanda. Amanda looked at her with a sinister grin. Then she went back to her original face. The woman sent Amanda to a paranormal investigator named Reggie Jacobs. He felt a presence in the doll. Amanda would demonstrate ruining household objects. She is very active. When she is happy, she just sits there like a normal doll. But when she gets bored, she ruins things in the house so she can move on to someone different. Now Amanda is with paranormal investigators in Atlanta, Georgia. She is unhappy and doesn't like to be trapped. Joliet is known to curse any family who owns her. Anna said the doll was passed down from mother to daughter in her family. Each daughter was cursed to have 2 kids, a girl and a boy. Each son died at 3 days old. The family thinks each spirit of the boys that die get trapped in the doll until Judgment Day. Anna says, "My mother lost a son the same way as did my grandmother and great-grandmother. As I've been told by my mother, the cursed doll was given to my great-grandmother by a jealous friend as a toy when she was pregnant with her 2nd child, a son who also died at 3 days old. Each of us in my family have loved the doll and cared for our lost children to this day. My only daughter will do the same one day when she is older." In August 1945 was the first time the doll was witnessed doing something paranormal. She giggled as the owner's cat walked by her feet. Whenever someone made a mistake, Joliet would change her expression and giggle at them. Family pets always hid, wanting to stay away from Joliet. You can hear the sound of infants crying and screaming from the doll. Anna says, "It can be heard quite clearly. We have not tried to get rid of it because we know the souls of our lost sons are trapped inside and do not want them to come to any harm. It is a haunted curse that my family bears. I have consulted mediums, psychics, paranormal investigators, and the clergy. They all say I'm crazy, but I know what I feel and I know it is true to me." Years went by of the family trying to find answers. Now Joliet is still with her family, and the family still thinks all the little boys who died at 3 days old are inside the doll. Thank you, friends, for joining me today. If you enjoyed the stories in this episode, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be alerted to all future content. If you have a story you would like me to read, feel free to email me your submission for a chance to hear your story on a future episode. Thank you again, friends, for your love and support. I'm Avarea, and until next time, take care.